Hey everybody, it's the Dynamite Show. Paul Fontaine, Jeff Hawkins here on the Fight Game Media Network YouTube channel. A little bit later than usual. Apologize for everyone that's waiting in the chat. I see a few of you in there already. AA Rocks, John, Aaron, or Fernando, whoever else is watching as well. I do apologize. It was my grandson's first birthday today, and we had people over.
Oh.
Yeah, and well, it's actually tomorrow, but we had people over to celebrate, and they didn't get out of here in time, so I was late starting to watch Dynamite, and I was late getting the show going. So it's my apologies, not Jeff's fault. And I've also been dealing with some sickness. You may hear it in my voice a little bit, and so I do apologize for that as well. And if you're watching on video, you may even see me dealing with it at times if Jeff is on a roll. But
that ain't gonna happen. But,
well, you may
Canada.
You are gonna have to describe the main event because, as promised, I did not watch it. I wouldn't have time to, anyways, but I kind of had planned not to. So, Greg says they went late. Okay, no.
They didn't. The main event didn't end until about the time we usually go on the air.
Well, okay. Shout out to Jason Robar then, Sideswipe, because I said I only have to watch about 90 minutes of the show because of the Lights Out match. And then Jason says, oh, you act like they're not going to start the Lights Out match at 9:50 and just do a super long overrun. Well, that's exactly what they did.
A lot of us telling jokes were correct because in this Lights Out match, for the first, I'd say 5 or 6 minutes, was literally lights out.
Yeah, that's someone pointed that out.
On it so you can see.
Someone pointed that out in the chat. That's hilarious. Well, I didn't watch it, so I'll hear all about it when we get to that. But we did have an eventful show, which we'll get into in a bit. And we normally do a little bit of a pre-meeting to talk about news, which we didn't really have a chance to do today. I'm not sure. The only thing that I really want to talk about is, and we almost never talk about this on this show, but I do want to bring it up for a reason. And I want to try to explain this. I want to talk about ratings a little bit.
Okay.
And the reason being, okay, we are going to get the numbers for Dynamite. We already got the numbers for Collision, the first show of the year. We'll get the numbers for Dynamite probably on the regular time. We'll probably get them Friday. And when we are able to compare year-over-year numbers for the first time ever, we're going to have a year-over-year comparison that involves HBO Max on both ends of the year-over-year comparison. Okay? Right? Okay. Because a year ago, they were on HBO Max. And we didn't know at that time how many people were watching. Well, now that we are going to have that year-over-year comparison, theoretically, we would have an apples-to-apples comparison. But the problem is that because Nielsen changed their rating system to this big data plus panel system, people are thinking, oh, well, we're not actually going to be able to do a fair comparison until October. But what we can do is look at the year-over-year numbers last month when big data was in play, and you're also comparing a number that didn't include HBO Max with a number that did. Well, now that we're switching to the new year where we are comparing numbers with HBO Max to numbers with HBO Max, the year-over-year numbers should get better than they were last month. Even with because the big data is going to affect it, but it's still affecting it. It affected it last month and it's affecting it this month. But now we don't have the added effect of all these missing viewers on HBO Max. If the year-over-year numbers are the same as they were last month, that tells me not a lot of people are watching on HBO Max. If they're better, and I actually think they will be, then we'll know that there are a lot of people watching on HBO Max. So this is just what I wanted to say, and I was going to try to explain it. And judging from the look on your face, I don't think I'm doing a very good job. So maybe I shouldn't even have brought it up.
I thought you were building up to a point, and I don't know.
Well, the point I'm building up to is we are going to get some real information about how many people are watching on HBO Max, I think, based on the year-over-year numbers.
Okay. Do you think it'll be an honest thing, or it'll be like, oh, somebody left their stream on autoplay or something like that?
Well,
or if you watch like a minute of it, it counts as a view and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, there is all that. I do think a lot of people are watching on HBO Max, but I don't think it's as many as people think it is.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think, boy, This is why I try to
avoid ratings.
Fast forward through Dave now when he sees this, because he has this idea that it's like a groundswell at HBO Max. Now, if it turns out that way, I will eat crow. I'm fine with that.
Well, if he's right, then what should happen is that these year-over-year numbers should actually be up, because now we are comparing strictly TV viewers on both ends. Yeah, so we'll know.
Are the houses improving? That's all. I mean,
they are a little bit. They are a little bit. Yeah, the pay-per-view buys. You know what the funny thing is? I have no idea if their pay-per-view buys were up, because I cannot find a number for World's End.
No, because it was in between Christmas and New Year's, and nobody will know that for like 2 more weeks. Probably.
Right, and so last year at this time, Dave reported the early numbers seem like it did the best number since All In. But what does that mean? Well, it means it's somewhere between 115 and 170.
Yeah, we're getting the people have told me stuff.
Yeah, and now this time he's saying 140.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's up or down from last year, because I can't find any number anywhere for last year. So we'll see. I do think
contracts have expired. If you wanted to talk about that, I don't know.
What has? Oh, contracts, yeah. So Matt Taven seems to be gone, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I don't know if that means Mike Bennett's gone with him. I haven't heard anything about Mike.
I haven't heard jack about Mike Bennett in ages.
Okay. And then Alex Abrahantes, his contract is up, but I assume he's probably getting re-signed. I haven't heard anything.
Think he is.
Really?
I mean,
so maybe.
Is he going to be seconding like Commander and
well, that's what he was doing. Or? I mean, he was kind of entertaining with Penta, so WWE could look at him. And then who's the other one?
Coverage in terms of I thought it was a woman who
there was someone else.
I don't remember.
Mercedes Martinez.
Yes, that's right. And she hadn't been on TV in ages. And
it's funny. I saw her tweet, and I thought it was Mercedes Moné at first, and I'm like, what? And then you watch tonight, and you think, oh, maybe she is done. We'll get to her segment.
I have a soft spot in my heart for Mercedes Martinez. She is part of one of my favorite stables ever.
Oh yeah,
with Shayna Baszler and Nicole Savoy in Shimmer.
Oh yeah. And I think they did a little bit in Ring of Honor too.
Yeah.
Not with Shayna, but the other two. There's another guy too whose contract we're not sure is up yet. I could swear that I heard it was around the middle of the month that his contract's actually up, even though some people are saying January 1st. Some dude from Winnipeg, I can't remember his name. I think his book is behind me there.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you. You suckered me. The one who was supposed to appear on Monday?
No, that was a Stranger Things tie-in. So I'm not sure if his contract is actually up yet. I know it will be up if it's not already. I saw people actually speculating that he was going to show up here tonight, because we had the Bandito Sammy match, which would have been perfect if he was staying in AEW for him to show up, because I mean, Bandito won the ROH title from him, and obviously he used to be partners with Sammy. So that would have been a perfect tie-in. But nope, we didn't see Jericho tonight. We did get a debut and a return. At least, yeah. I didn't think. I
predict he'll appear on Impact on Thursday. It'll be great.
No, well, they already taped that show, so
that's true.
I didn't think it was possible to find a worse name than Jake something, but they managed to.
His real name? You call the brother's real name bad? Okay.
Is that his real name?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know that, but
so I had to take a moment and go, Jake, is that Jake something? Okay. That's a way to
and then with
Mark, you're debuting. Hold on, you're debuting him with Mark Davis.
Well, I was wondering if it was a clone of Mark Davis. Like, do we have two clones now? Because man, those two.
Yes.
Although Jake's got a much better physique, but facially they look very similar.
Very.
Yeah.
Thought the Bears were back.
Oh man, look at this. What's so special about Winnipeg? Name one good person from Winnipeg. Emily.
Oh.
Emily Mayette. She's great. And
That's not that. It's not the most lackluster debut we've had times where people like walked in on interview segments and that was it. So I guess it's not the worst debut, but it's certainly one of those things that tells you NWO B team.
Mariah May was kind of like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I mean, she did all right. I don't suspect it's going to go quite as well for Mr. Jake Doyle, which we'll get to him. Actually, we won't take too long to get to him because he was right at the beginning of the show. That was so weird too, because they are talking about this bounty, which, I mean, they mentioned it on Collision, but I had no idea what they were talking about on Collision. And then here I saw people here tonight like, what a bounty? What? And I guess this was on social media, like that Ricochet and or Don Callis had put out a bounty on Jet Speed.
I didn't watch Collision because I was watching grown-up professional tackle football, and I haven't been on social media, so I had no idea. I just assumed somebody put a bounty on somebody. I was like,
I mean, and then they claimed it wasn't.
But where's Brian Keith, the bounty hunter?
Well, the funny thing is they did bring that up because Brian Keith did wrestle on Saturday.
Oh, did he?
So they kind of tied it in, but I think that was just Nigel doing his own thing. I don't think it was actually a storyline. Further proof no one watches Collision. Yeah. It was an interesting show tonight.
I thought we were going into it. Now we're doing
we will.
General above.
Should we?
Above,
We don't have anything else to talk about, do we? Can we get into the show?
Yeah.
Okay. So they were in Tulsa and they brought out good old JR for commentary. He was okay. He did have one line where he clearly didn't like what he was seeing.
You didn't watch the main event because that is when he just decided, you know what? I've been having a really good night, so I'm going to try and crack a little wise here and there. He was feeling him. So I was going to ask you, how do you think? Not how JR did, because I thought he sounded rough to me. But I chalked that up to his physicality, and they were in Oklahoma, so they decided to do that and put him on for the entire show. I wasn't going to ask you how he did because we'd have to grade on a curve. I was going to ask you, how do you think he did?
How does he think he did?
Yes.
I think if he listened to it, he'd be honest and say he didn't have his fastball tonight.
Oh, I don't know. I think maybe he might do a little bit of that. But I mean, in terms of going backstage and go, hey, you know what? It was a little rough, but I think I eventually got into the groove. Like,
I'll be back next week.
Yeah, can you book me again, Tony? Please.
Oh yeah. I think Tony might say thanks, but no thanks.
I'm thinking JR may ask though. I mean, I'm happy he's physically well and he's beaten his cancer though, so that's good. But he sounded audibly like he was having a rough time speaking at times.
I didn't really pick up on that, but there was a lot of voices in the booth at times. I think they had 5 people in there in the opening match. It was at least 4.
4.
Yeah, okay. Because it was Excalibur, Tony, JR, and then MVP, and then
right.
I think So they go backstage and show a thing from earlier today, and I guess this had been shown on social media as well. Jet Speed had been laid out. They were supposed to wrestle, and I didn't even know they were wrestling tonight, but they were going to be teaming with Jack Perry to face the Demand. And Ricochet and Don Callis show up. They seem very concerned. Renee talked about a bounty, and then Ricochet said, "There's no bounty. We just said, if Jet Speed gets injured, we'll pay you some money." And then Renee says,
"I popped for this hard."
Yeah. Renee said, "That's literally the definition of a bounty." And then Callis said, "Well, whatever you want to call it, someone or something just got very rich." And you know what? I didn't even pick up on that until I read it in the tweet. But when he said it, it just completely glossed over because I was so dumbfounded at the visual of Jake Doyle and Mark Davis standing next to each other, almost like a Spider-Man meme. But
it's one of those things where at least, I mean, okay, I guess there's trademark issues or something. I hope not.
I thought he owned the name, but
I thought he owned the name too. You can't do that to us, guys. You have to tell us who we'd better known him as, because I don't watch everything, and I know I've seen him on TNA, I think, once or twice. But it's one of those things where it's like when they brought in people working in TNA into NXT who had used to be in WWE, and they're calling them by that name that nobody knows, but everybody. It's like, whatever Alicia Fox's name was, and
Victoria Crawford,
it's like, oh, that's Victoria Crawford, Ash by Elegance, can we at least
Li Ying Li
make the connection for those of us who are old and dumb, please? It's one of those things where I went, okay, I get it, and it's cool and it's fine, but it's like, you can't be like, oh my God, that's Jake Doyle.
Yeah. And that's what he did. Like, Don Callis just said his name like we all knew who he was. And I would venture a guess that most people watching have probably never seen him before.
Oh my God. I can bet I go on the figure 4 board and I get somebody saying, I didn't know who he was. And somebody, how come you know what? Are you not a real fan? Why do you have to have everything spoon fed to you?
You're not watching TNA? Like, he never even, I don't even think he showed up on NXT ever. Maybe he was in the crowd that one time when they had.
No, I think he was on one episode of NXT, and he did a match, I believe. Too.
So and it worked out. Like, what's funny is they did this thing, and presumably they paid the bounty, and Jake Doyle got a job because he's now in the Callis family, and then Perry ended up with better partners, anyways.
Yes, that was an upgrade.
Yeah. So I don't know, but we open with Jon Moxley and Shelton Benjamin an eliminator match. We had Renee doing some sideline stuff during the entrances, which is kind of becoming a standard now. MVP joined them for commentary, as I pointed out. They wrestled outside the ring. God, it must have been 5 minutes. And in this 20-minute match, and the ref was barely trying to get them back in. They finally get back in, and then the first thing Mox does is roll out. And then they were still fighting on the outside. They go through a break. They come back, and then it really kicked in. And the weird thing is the crowd was like super into it at the beginning. And then as the match went on, they kind of died. And then they really picked up in the last 2 minutes is kind of how this went. But they kind of
I think they were hoping for a draw or a Shelton win. It was going so long. I think that's where it started picking. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. The one thing that drove me nuts before we get into the nuts and bolts of the match was Excalibur. The things that they choose to explain and not explain for continuity's sake kill me, because I don't know if you caught this. It was, yes, it's a Continental Classic match, but MVP is not out here as a manager.
Yeah.
He's out here as
in his role as a commentator, as an analyst.
Yes, I just went, F off. Yeah. We had a guy who won a match with a screwdriver. Can we drop the pretense, please?
And they're wrestling into the crowd. Yes. And and then not only that, but he also points out that we've added the wrinkle of, if the match goes 20 minutes, then the challenger gets a title match. And it's like, they've done this forever. Like, it's just not in the Continental matches. But yeah, I don't know. And honestly, the way this match went, I almost think Shelton should have got the win.
I agree.
He should have gone the 20 minutes, because they went 19:55. So at the end, I don't know what it accomplished. And the thing is, the other thing is, they weren't really working like there was a time limit. Like the crowd, they did the 5-minute count, and they didn't pick up their intensity at all. And then they didn't do a 4, a 3, or a 2-minute count. And then they did a 1 minute, and they're still they do the 1 minute call. And then the first thing Mox does is he gets up and he collapses, and then he stands up and he's limping. And then Shelton hits him with a knee to the face, covers him for 2, puts on a triangle. Mox won't give up. Shelton cinches in the triangle. Then Mox I guess he stood on his tippy toes and somehow cradled him. And Shelton was trapped and couldn't kick out. And Mox got the pin with 5 seconds left. And it was interesting finish. But they're telling the story that Mox is getting warmed down by having all these matches, and every match his leg is getting worse and worse. And one day somebody's going to beat him. But today wasn't that day. And then after the match, Moxley offers him a handshake, and Shelton shakes his hand, and that was that.
I would have given Shelton at least the draw, and then put him away for later as a title contender to come back. And then you get the imagination that he might be the guy to take the title, and
have him in the triangle as the time limit's expiring, so that he's visually got to win. Like, if the match went 5 more seconds.
I didn't even need that much, Paul. I just needed Shelton to get some get a little bit of steam on him. That's all, because the dude deserves it, and he never does. And then every time he comes out, nobody ever expects him to win. If you're gonna go this long with him, might as well have it the draw, because it doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's not what happened. And I don't know where, the Hurt business goes from here. My MVP put his head in his hands. We haven't seen Lashley in months. So I don't know. And that was that. Then next thing we see is Darby skateboarding in the hall looking for someone. And that's the last we saw Darby. So I'm not sure what the point of that was. He may not even have been there. They could have taped that last week for all we know.
We saw him later in the show.
Oh, did we? It must have been after like the
Did you miss the pack segment?
I guess I did. Was this before the main event?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I shut the show off after the Tony Marina match. So
okay, well then I will have to recap that too.
All right. So we got and they showed a short video package about Tanahashi's last match and Okada beating him. That was cool. And then we got a Kenny Omega video package vowing to become world champion again. Showed highlights of the match he had with MJF in MJF's first reign. And Kenny will be returning next week at Maximum Carnage. So I assume he'll be there to watch MJF and Bandito. And then we got the Demand versus Jack Perry and 2 mystery partners. And the mystery partners turned out to be the Bucks. So I guess they're all friends with Jack Perry again. I was told this week that they're not friends, but I guess they are. And the Bucks, they were out, and the announcers were like, "Oh, we don't even know how long they've been out, but the time off did them some good," and blah blah. They were gone for 2 weeks. It was on the Christmas Eve episode where they said we're not cleared until the new year, and I even said at the time that's 1 week. So literally, they were gone for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah,
you're exactly right. To kind of clown on this.
In fact, if you recall, the Kenny Omega was with them, and Kenny says, "Well, if you guys are going to be gone, I got some business I got to take care of." And he leaves, and we think, okay, well, Kenny's going to be doing something while the Bucks are gone. We haven't seen Kenny since.
I need a segment next week, Paul. I need a segment next week where Kenny goes, "Yeah, I'm going after MJF's title," and the Bucks go, "Wait a second, why'd you do something like that?" It's like, well, you guys were going to be gone for a while. No, we said we're going to be gone until the new year. We're back. What's your problem, you moron?
Yeah, well, now you got Jack Perry. So it's all good. And they even pointed out, so apparently the story now is Kenny Omega gave the Bucks a pep talk, and that's why they smoothed the fences with Jack Perry. That is literally what Excalibur said during commentary here.
That is a tell, don't show moment. That's great.
Well, not only that, but wasn't it Jack Perry and the Bucks who combined to take Kenny Omega out?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, the match was good. They was exactly what you would expect. They started out with the baby faces running wild, and then eventually the heels took over. They go through a break. They're still beating on Perry after the break. They come back, and that's when everyone did all their high spots. They really tried to put over Toa Leona. JR was actually, this was probably the best JR all night.
I would agree.
Toa Leona.
Although I thought JR and MVP had a pretty good back and forth about MVP's game plan and training. Shelton.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty nice too.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
but yeah,
JR is best in small doses.
JR is best in small doses and early in the evening before he gets tired.
Right, or like pick him for an important match, and then and so he can do his research and everything. So here he's like, like Toa was no selling everything, and JR was like, oh man, if I was signing people, he'd be like the first draft pick, or I can't remember exactly how he put it, but it was something like that. And then Ricochet kept going for Vertigo. He finally hit it, and then Bucks broke it up. Then he went for the Spirit Gun, missed that, but then he hit a high knee. Perry hit a Poison Rana. Bucks hit super kicks on all the Demand. They needed, I think they had to hit Toa with like 6 super kicks between the two of them, and then another 3 with Perry involved before he finally went down. Then Perry hit a springboard Doomsday on Ricochet. Bucks hit the VTE trigger, and then Perry hit a knee. They had a name for it. I thought, did they call it?
He called it the knee. That's what Excalibur called it.
Oh,
the
he
knee.
Just called it the knee. Okay, I thought for some reason I thought he said the game. And I'm like,
no, but I think there's a name for it. I think Excalibur just forgot
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he won. So I assume now that he'll get a shot at Ricochet's title. You may have forgotten that Ricochet has a title because I don't think they mentioned it at all in this match. But which is exactly where we were after the pay-per-view when they had a pre-show match with a trios match where Perry got a pin on Ricochet.
Correct.
And then I brought this up in the Discord and somebody says, oh, well, at least Perry earned another shot. Anybody else?
I hate that thinking, to be honest with you. I know that this is what we're to expect now, but I don't think you should pin your champions all that often. Maybe it's just me, but I just thought it was like, it's not that you can't pin Bishop Khan, but
right.
You know, I get that Excalibur, or not Excalibur, but that Ricochet's probably the choice.
Yeah.
But I probably try and avoid this match because he's your quote unquote new champion, other than Moxley and his belt. So I don't know. It was one of these weird things where I watched it, I went, oh, now he gets a title shot. I was like, yeah, but does that make Ricochet a strong champion that you want to see defend his title necessarily?
It was 2 weeks ago that Ricochet beat him.
Yeah.
And now we're just going to do it again.
We're doing 50-50. That's a dirty secret.
Well, it's 50-50 that Ricochet only loses in the tag match, but he wins the singles matches. So it's kind of almost 100-0 for Ricochet.
It's those 70-30 matches that we love.
Yeah. So after the match, D&D, Davis and Doyle attacked the Bucks. Gates of Agony were beating on Perry. Callis is cheerleading and everything. Clone was out there. Lance Archer. I don't know who else. Jet Speed made the save. So, I mean, they were not cleared for all of like an hour. And they had hockey sticks. And then the lights went out. And it's like, oh, are they doing the lights out match already? Nope. Sabu. And then I wrote in my notes, it's probably Andrade. And they come back on. There's a masked man in the ring. And his hair is like super long. And I just watched him at the Tokyo Dome. And I knew it was Andrade. And they even said, oh, it looks like it's probably Andrade. And he's wearing a suit. Crowd pops. He takes off his thing. So they pop for the heel. And then FTR shows up on the stage. Stokely's in a wheelchair. And Excalibur points out that, oh, we know about Andrade's extensive history with FTR. I'm like, what? Like, what are they talking about? I don't remember it.
I don't either.
Greg thought it was Jericho.
I thought, you know what? I didn't like FTR here. It became too convoluted. I was going, why are they out here? Are we just going to have like all 4 teams in one match now? Are
they going to be baby faces?
Like, no, I don't think so. It was just one of these things where it feels like, oh, we're going to have like a tag team gauntlet match or something.
Like Jet Speed and D&D and Gates of Agony. Yeah, could be.
No, I do like Andrade. I always have. I although now he's like number 6 in the Callis family.
Yeah.
But
well, at 4 at best.
And I admittedly I did get to see Stokely's bit on even though he wasn't there, the bit on Collision about going to the Vivian Banks Center
where they made Tony read everything.
Yes.
And it's like a GoFundMe or something.
Yeah, it's total Stokely because he references the character from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as the name of the hospital he's at. But yeah,
so is he really hurt?
No, I don't think so. I think he's just playing up the injury because it was that tag team tornado match. He got put through a table, right?
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
He's actually selling. He's one of the few
this is the one with the gun with Juice in Austin. Okay.
The one with Juice yeah.
Where are they? Doesn't matter.
You'll get them next week.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. And schmaz, I bet.
So then we got a Renee hosting a Willow Nightingale championship celebration. So they showed highlights of her beating Mercedes. That was last week on the show that nobody watched. Chris Statlander was out there, Harley as well. She says, I got 2 belts now. I feel complete. It's the Willow 2 Belts tour, and we're here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it's important to take in the good moments. I'm here with my beautiful, busty, blonde, baddest babe, Harley Cameron. And I'm also celebrating a very special reunion with my TBS championship. But also, I'm reunited with the AEW World Women's Champion, the incomparably amazing Chris Statlander. And then they kissed, which is interesting. And then she says, and we're now going to eat some dessert because your girl loves some cake, but I also love the competition. The crowd's chanting, we want cake. And Willow says, yeah, we'll get to that. And she says, so if you want to be the TBS challenger or a tag team challenger, if your girl wants to fight, I'll do 2 fights in one night if I have to, because that's what pro wrestling is all about. Well, unfortunately, she works on Dynamite where Tony will only do 1 women's match show. And then she says, but I know there's someone back there that wants to crash my party. Listen, we're all having a good time, but I know Miss Thang is back there and she wants to come out. So Mercedes, come join us. I invite you. And music plays.
All right, let's pause here for a second. Okay. I did like, I think it was Renee calling her the human ray of sunshine. I thought that. Yeah. I think that's much better than the nihilism. Smile anyways. Things don't matter. It's a perfect way to go. And then Mercedes comes out with the most ridiculous outfit I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, she's dressed in all white, and she's got a hat with a white veil, and she takes her damn sweet time coming down to the ring. And I would normally fast forward this, but I thought maybe something was going to happen, and it didn't.
It was taking so long, I was convinced it wasn't Mercedes at first until I really kind of stared, and then it's like, no, that's Mercedes. Okay. And
given what ended up happening, it's like, I don't know what. And I really liked the first part of this. Like, I just, it was fun. And I thought, okay, we're going to get a challenger come out, or something. And so she comes out, and she gets in the ring, and Willow says, Mercedes, you're so fashionable. You look great. We have so much to celebrate. You had an unstoppable 2025. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Sports Illustrated, #1 Wrestler of the Year in both magazines, country after country, company after company. You're now the Ultimo Monet. And I had to dig deep to get my TBS championship back, but I'm now the face of TBS. So let's cut some cake and have a great time, Mercedes. And Mercedes takes off her hat, and then she takes a fit. She screams. She takes apart the table. Statlander is sure to grab the cake before she took apart the table. And then Mercedes pushed Harley, and then Mercedes ended up falling right into the cake. And then Willow gave her the babe with the powerbomb onto the cake. And then JR, who clearly was not having any of this, he's like, oh no, not the cake.
Yeah. That was not a great moment for him.
Yeah, well, that's how I felt.
I'll tell you, well, I didn't mind it.
But why?
Okay. Mercedes is great at the physical comedy, getting the visual of her after the face of the cake. She's always good at that kind of stuff. I think the issue here actually is a little bit on Willow, and I'll tell you why. Because yes, Willow is the human embodiment of sunshine, but this came off because this had to be without snark and sarcasm. What she was doing with Mercedes for it to work, because she had to really believe that she was helping Mercedes and celebrating Mercedes for the great 2025 she had in order for this to work. Otherwise, Mercedes is absolutely justified in trashing this celebration.
This came off like 4 bullies picking on somebody that was down. 4, by the way, because I'm concluding Renee in this. Because after Mercedes was down, they proceeded to do a conga line around the ring over her sprawled, humiliated body. And I'm like, is she leaving the territory? Like, what is this? And I don't think she's coming back to challenge for any of these belts. Maybe Chris's belt, but I don't think that's it's not like it's going to be, next week or even next month. Like, I don't know what this was. I think maybe Mercedes is going to be gone for a bit, and maybe that's what this was.
Could be, but still doesn't excuse. It doesn't make me like the baby faces more.
No, it made it. It reminded me
like she had to be conciliatory at first and say, "Hey, you know what? You are the best still, or whatever. Even though I beat you, or what?" And really try and build her back up.
At the very least, you could have had Mercedes say, like, "You condescending piece of crap," something like that.
No, she couldn't do that, because then it'd be calling out what was happening and would completely undermine the thing.
Well, no, because then Willow can. Well, I wasn't that, but
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. If she had apologized after that, then you could say that. Yeah.
Well, no, because I mean, really, that wasn't her intention. you know, and it's just Mercedes the heel accusing her of something that she wasn't doing.
Okay.
You know,
I can go with that
yeah.
too.
Yeah. But then when Mercedes did nothing, like, here's the thing, like, other than taking a fit, like, Mercedes did nothing to deserve anything that happened to her here. Like, I don't even know why she came out.
It's like she didn't even want to come out. She just so happened to have this weird getup on, and then she got called out by Willow, who then proceeded to humiliate her.
Like, what was Mercedes' game plan here in kayfabe? Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to go out there in this weird outfit, and am I going to attack these three baby faces?
It's the very definition of having a punchline and needing a sketch. We have this weird outfit. How can we get her out there? Okay.
And there's another issue here too. Renee is almost always Team Mercedes. And here she was just right in on the let's humiliate this girl, you know, like joining in the Congo line. Like, you'd think at the very least she would have not participated and she would have checked on Mercedes.
Nope, her Canadian colors are showing.
Yeah, she's a two-faced Canadian wench. So yeah, that was weird. Then we got highlights of Commander and Hechicero fighting on Saturday. So that was good because probably not a lot of people watch that, and they're fighting for
so good.
Love him. And they're fighting for a TNT title shot. And then we got Mark Briscoe cutting a promo. So that's great. Called himself the workhorse champion of professional wrestling. He said, I've had time to regenerate. Mentally, I ain't doing so good. And you might ask, Chicken, why aren't you doing so good? Well, it's been too long. I got an itch that needs scratching. I got a fever for some cowbell. No, it's been too long since I whipped a man's ass. So Hechicero is the next challenger. Back where it belonged, back where it began, the Don Callis family. Hechicero can get it done in the ring. But let me peek into the future. And he's got this crystal ball that he's massaging in like pantomime. He said, Saturday, TNT Collision. I see it clearly. This TNT title ain't going nowhere. Just like the TBS title ain't going away from my girl Willow. Because the conglomeration, we're all strapped up nowadays. So the word of the day, no, strike that. The phrase of the day is reign and defend. I was like, you know, Briscoe can just say anything and it works.
Yes, he can.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of like on the Mark Briscoe scale. He didn't really have much to say here, but damn if I don't love watching him say it. So yeah, that'll be on Collision. Briscoe and Hechicero for the TNT title, and they're still in their Texas residency for I don't know how long, at least a month, I think. And next week on Dynamite, it's going to be MJF and Bandito. And then we got another promo. Tekla. This was great. So she's standing there and she's got the Sisters of Sin behind her. And for once they weren't doing like they were still doing monotone promos, but at least they weren't like doing them in stereo. Yes. But she says, Statlander, you finally got some friends. Are you that insecure that you reunited with a woman you hate? When are you going to spit in Harley's face or hit Willow with a light tube? And she says, how about you and your two friends, quote unquote? How long do you think the three of you can last against this? Make no mistake, we aren't friends. We're sisters. And then I think it was Sky says, we're the daughters of violence. And then Tekla says, come on, friends, let's get toxic. And
that was Julia that spoke up. But
okay. Julia,
yeah, but I love Tekla had a bit of an awkward pause here at the end, and I adored it because it's just like, not finished yet. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then she remembered that they actually, because she said we are sisters, but then I think she remembered, oh yeah, no, wait a minute, we're the Triangle of Madness.
Yes.
Yeah. But and let's get toxic because that's her. She's the toxic spider. So the match will be next week. Tony, I guess, like this promo and book the match. So it's Statland, or no, it's on Collision, I think. No, Dynamite next week.
No, it's at Maximum Carnage in Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Statlander and the Babes of Wrath against the Triangle of Madness. Everybody's got cool names now. It's kind of cool.
I like names. I need more.
Yeah.
I need give Jake Doyle a nickname for God's sakes. Like, you know,
something.
No. Yes, something Jake Doyle. That's
oh, they should change Mark's name to Mark something.
Jake also. That's what we'll call it.
Yeah. Something in the
We
way
need more nicknames in
you
wrestling as
move
opposed to just weird.
attracts me like no other love.
Don't sing George Harrison on this show, please.
All right.
I like George Harrison. I love something, but
Oh, is that him that sang that one? I know it's the Beatles.
Yes. Yeah, it's
all right. Next, we got Sammy Guevara and Bandito. And much like me, Sammy ended up with a bleeding nose by the end of this. But JR in here was comparing Sammy to Eddie Guerrero. I think it's because it's just like one of those things that people say, but there's actually like almost no similarity.
So we have to call him either Ray or or Eddie. We can't ever have anybody else in there.
Yeah, I guess if he had a mask, we could probably call him Mil Masters.
He has a god awful stash.
Well, that's by design, obviously.
I know.
Yeah,
he's trying to be. He watched it. Went, I could be Dominic Mysterio.
I have seen Dominic Mysterio, and sir, you are no Dominic Mysterio. There's a 1980s presidential election reference for everybody.
Yes, Mr. Benson.
Yeah. So, and JR also pointed out that Sammy's matured since he got married, which I mean, he doesn't. I don't know where he's
matured, but he's a heel. Stop. You don't have to hand it to them, JR. Just keep moving on. How about that?
So they're wrestling outside the ring, and Sammy peeks under the ring, and I thought he grabbed something, but I guess he took a swig of something because he spit in Bandito's eyes, and then he did a pose on the table, and that took us into break. So come back from break, and then the match kind of kicked in, and the crowd, they weren't really meshing at first, and the crowd wasn't really into it, but they eventually got into it after Sammy got busted open. So Bandito went for the 21 plex, and Sammy broke it up, and then he gave him a double bird, and then he hit a flying knee, and then some sort of move that drove him down, but Bandito kicked out, and he put his finger up like he was like refusing to tap, like that kind of thing. And that's when the fans chanted, "This is awesome." And then Sammy just threw these weak ass punches, and then he went for a super kick. Bandito caught the foot, drove Sammy to the mat. Then he hit the 21 plex and got the win. The other thing I pointed out here was there was one point where they focused on Sammy and showed that he was wearing his wedding ring, and JR had to comment that guys shouldn't wear wedding rings while they're wrestling. And he's right, especially heels. But yeah, it was a good match. Wasn't anything to write home about, but did the trick, gets Bandito a win before his world title match next week.
I like Sammy Guevara. I don't understand why he's in the doghouse, but I guess he is. Although he did get a shot on Dynamite, but I mean, I loved him with I suspect that Los Ingobernables Day AEW is no longer a thing. Or
no, it is. It's just like Rush is almost always injured or having a visa issue. But they are still a faction. I think him and Rush. They
did mention that Bandito beat Rush and Mordos, or at least
Sammy. And Rush and Jalistico, or I mean Sammy and Jalistico, I think, are the tag team champions in Ring of Honor.
Right.
Yeah. So
okay.
So there's still a faction, but yeah, LFI, right?
Yes.
Is that what they're called?
Yes.
I don't know. Okay. But yeah, it was a good match, and probably the last time we'll see Sammy for a while.
Probably unless it's Collision.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't wrestle Collision much either. MJF's music hits, and he comes out. He's out there with John Cruz, and John Cruz has a mic, so I guess he's there to interpret. And
I didn't know that. I wish they had said something. Was he on with him last time, or because
he was there for the Mystico feud?
Okay,
you may recall.
Okay.
So he
I
would
I don't recall. That's the problem. I was like, why is John Cruz coming out here? And I wish someone had said something, but they eventually got to it. And I love John Cruz. I am an unapologetic. He's the best geek in this company. Of the AKA Serpentico, AKA the guy who did the what when he went up against Samoa Joe that one time. God. He's so good at being a geek. I love him. Let's get into this.
All right. So MJF says, "My God, buddy, that was one heck of a match. Give it up for Bandito." Crowd applauds. "You're a talented little luchador, aren't you? And if anyone knows anything about lucha libre, it's me. I sold out Arena Mexico multiple times. I'm a former CMLL world champion. Beat the top star in Mexico from pillar to post. What was his name? And he goes to Cruz, and Cruz goes, Mystico. and MJF's like, Mystico? Doesn't matter. I'm a Lucha Libre legend. No offense, but I'm a bigger star in Mexico than you'll ever be. My bar is super high. No shame on you, brother. I think you have potential. I really do. I think you're talented. I respect you're talented. I respect your country and your heritage. And I brought my friend out here to make sure you understand. So John Cruz takes the mic, and theoretically, what he was supposed to be doing was translating the promo that MJF just cut. Right. Now, I don't understand a lot of Spanish, but I do understand enough to know that this way in no way resembled the promo that MJF cut.
Precisely.
Yeah. He insulted the loving fuck out of him. I think he called him a dog a bunch of times. And I said MJF's name a bunch of times. And yeah, and MJF just stood there because MJF had no idea what he was saying either. But clearly, Bandito did, and he was not amused. So he's finished. MJF said, "Thank you, Jonathan. It's really professional. You to come here to a dump like Oklahoma to do your job. You're an absolute mensch. Bandy, you're a good kid. You got spunk. You got moxie. And as you know, I got 6 Dynamite Diamond rings to my name, and I came out here without a single one of them on. You know why? Because I'd like to think that you're respectful enough to know that ring on your hand doesn't belong to you. It belongs to me. So how about you hand that ring over to me? We'll skip the world title match for next week because you don't have a prayer. So look, it's a perfectly good proposition. I promise you right now, I'll go to the back. I'll pull that Mark Tony Khan out of his commentary thing, and I'll put you over to him, kid. And you know what? I'm even willing to wrestle you live on pay-per-view. Like 5 or 10 years. That's a good deal, isn't it? And then he says, translate. And Cruz is about to translate, and Bandito puts up his hand, and he says, I can speak English, you stupid son of a bitch. That was great.
Yeah, the punchline on this was fantastic.
That was the best thing Bandito's ever done. I'm sorry. The 5-star matches, this is great. So he throws the mic down. They go face to face. MJF kicks him in the nuts, takes the ring off, puts it on. And John Cruz, the beautiful, loving John Cruz, pulls up Bandito because MJF's going to knock him out with that thing. And you could see this. Stevie Wonder's like, no! And MJF wheels back, and Bandito ducks, and Cruz takes the best bump for this ring.
This is so beautiful. I love this.
Yeah, and then Bandito kicks MJF in the nuts. MJF takes a big bump, and Bandito gets his ring back, picks up the beautiful Burby belt or whatever it's called, and holds it up, and then he puts it down, and MJF grabs it, takes off to the back. This was great. I saw people worried that MJF was going to cut a racist promo on Bandito, and I'm like, no, he's not. Like, this was great. This was great. You can't.
I think their concerns are valid. I mean,
people said he was going to reference ice. Like, come on, he's not going to do that.
Okay, I'm fine with.
Thought he would?
Look, I'm not saying he would. I'm not saying I thought he would. I'm saying it's not outside of the realm of possibilities.
Oh, okay.
All right. That he's going to use that for cheap heat, especially today.
Well, yeah. Well, did you see the name? I saw the name of that mayor, and it was Mayor Jacob, and the last name started with an F. And when I was reading it, I was like, MJF? And then the woman, did you see her name?
Yes.
Renee Good.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, but like on a day like today, he might do that. So
yeah.
Thank God he did.
This was great.
Thank God he did. It was great. My only minor quibble was the amount of time that MJF was holding the ropes there, waiting for the 21 plex, and just Bandito and then finally doing the shooting.
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned that he hit him with the 21 plex, but yeah.
No, this is a fantastic angle. I loved every moment.
Yeah, and Bandito's going to lose next week, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a Brody King video, And he was just all soft spoken. And
that's just foreshadowing why Bandito's going to lose, probably.
Maybe. You know what? You're probably not wrong. So they're showing him like he's talking all soft, but they're showing him like singing with like a power punk metal band or something, and then beating people up. And like, this is the first I ever knew that he did this. And apparently, like, everybody knows, but not me. He says, I love to sing and beat people up, but I don't have to scream to get my point across. This is me. Win or lose, Brody King is coming for the throne. So yeah, I think Bandito might have to be worried about his friend. I suggested in the Discord, and people ate me alive for this. They think I'm making things up, and I mean I am, but Brody King would be great as MJF's bodyguard, and then eventually
Wardlow.
What?
So would Wardlow.
Well, yeah, but I mean Brody's better than Wardlow. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah.
Then we got Tony Storm and Marina, and so I watched this match, and this is where like things were kind of starting to fall apart here. And I was looking at the time and panicking a little bit. But I watched the match. They went through a break. I thought Tony was bleeding, but I think it was just like makeup smeared or something because the refs didn't put on any gloves. Marina picked her up, started dancing with her. Then she threw her down. Then she started dancing some more. Crowd was booing. And then I kind of wasn't paying attention for a bit. And then I noticed that Tony rolled her up. But Wheeler pulled the ref. And they called for a DQ. Now, I must see this ref pull spot 10 times a week. It's never a DQ.
Correct.
But for here, it was a DQ for some reason.
Right.
I don't know why.
Because now it's important.
Oh. It's because they didn't want to beat either one of them.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. And then the Death Riders came out, and they're all acting imposing. And then Roddy Strong came out to make the save, but the numbers were still in the heels' favor. And then Orange Cassidy does the slowest save walk-in, but it was enough that the Death Riders were scared, and they took off before he got there. They could have beat Tony up, murdered her, buried her body, and before Orange got to the ring. Like, I mean,
yeah, you're underselling a lot of this, even though it's not really great. But I'll tell you that the Mina Shirakawa comes in, gets hit, and then has to do the most ridiculous pratfall and absolutely just dead weights on to Tony Storm.
Oh, so
resembling the parallel when Tony came to save her and got kicked in the face and was out like a light.
Okay, all right.
Roddy comes out, but all Roddy does is stare a hole through Marina Shafir.
So is this foreshadowing? Is he joining the Death Riders?
I don't know.
Okay.
But all he did was stare at Marina the entire time. Orange comes out, and this is basically the Tommy Dreamer, I'll take both of them spot.
Yeah. He picks up Tony. She's semi-conscious and says thank you. Then he picks up Mina, and he's got either one of them on either side of him, and he's kind of looking like, man, look at me. And Mina is like, look at you. And Luther is jealous, and I don't know where this is going, and I don't think they do either. But clearly they think they have something here, and we're going to see this every week and until we get sick of it, and then we're going to see it 6 months after that.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that was that, and that's where I paused the show.
Okay. And so here's where we get to Renee. Renee is backstage with Pac after this. And she basically says, you're a Death Rider, but you're also your own man. So I guess everybody else isn't their own man.
Okay.
And asked, when are we getting this rematch with Darby Allin? Pac says, look, I've beaten him twice. I've wrestled him, and I've beaten him both times. I'm 2-0. So I'll wrestle him when I feel like wrestling him. I don't need to say anything more like that. Here comes Darby, like a whirling, like the Tasmanian devil, saying, hey, I've beaten all the Death Riders in the last year except for you, so I want my match. And Pac says, look, you don't call the shots. I've beaten you twice. Maybe I'll get back to you eventually or whatever. So he starts to walk off. And Darby grabs a fire extinguisher, sprays it in his face. It's near a doorway, so he grabs his leg and puts it in the doorway and threatens to break his ankle if he doesn't give him the rematch. And that's when Pac says yes, 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 and right at that moment the Death Riders come in to save Pac. So we have another babyface bullying heels again. Yes.
Yeah, John said Darby came off as a heel. I mean, it's weird because and why didn't Tony just book the match?
Ruthless aggression has reached AEW.
Yeah, there you go. And then we got this lights out match, which apparently took us to like 20 minutes after the top of the hour. Oh my god!
Yes, it was long. I don't have extended notes. I do have figure.
Well, I'm reading some notes here.
But I will start on this. So Justin Roberts comes out and says, "Hey, we got to turn the lights on. After that, AEW is not responsible for anything." And the Opps come out and they sit there, and then we introduce Hangman, and someone's holding up a Coors, and Hangman drinks the Coors and hands it back to him. Then everybody starts yeeting because he's up at the top of the stairway. And it's yeet, yeet, yeet.
They actually yeeted? Oh,
no,
wow.
I'm kidding. No, because it then leads into my next joke when Swerve Strickland was on top of the other staircase, and it was Sierra Hotel Indigo. And yes, it's Shield Swerve coming down with Nana. No, it's not. But they're doing this. They come down from the stairway thing on opposite stairways because we don't have enough talent not using the designated rampway to go to the ring. So we come down and then the lights go out and they don't come back on. And so they start wrestling and fighting, and like Hangman's doing a moonsault.
Oh,
An aesthetic choice, to be honest with you, but I'm thinking they were just having a problem turning the lights back on.
Yeah.
Or they made this choice thinking it was clever, and then everybody started yelling, "We can't see," so they turned the lights back on. I don't know which this is, but I will be very interested.
So they were literally going to actually do the match with the lights actually off?
I don't know, but part of me thought they might be.
Because they saw that NXT do it and realized it was such a great idea.
So either they have a switch and they don't immediately come back on after you turn them back on, or they thought that maybe the spotlight would be enough.
Oh yeah, okay.
I could see either way, but yes, it's your basic how every no DQ Texas Tornado tag team does: a bunch of high spots, a bit of plunder here and there, and we go to break after a dive. That's what happens, you know. And so we come back from the commercial break, and this is when the excessiveness starts. Now, I apologize because I am not reading notes really. I'm just kind of going.
I'm looking at the notes on F4W. So
okay, so I am too, but I don't want to read them, and they're great.
Okay,
but it's fine. But it's one of these things.
Oh,
and we finally get like them. Then we finally get Hobbs gets run into a chair in the corner that they've put in there, and we bring in the staple gun.
Ugh.
And Hangman starts stapling Hook and all his terrible tattoos. And the setup to this is that Hook is acting like a fraidy cat a little bit. He's kind of avoiding fighting Hangman, and then Hobbs comes in, does a big power spot to take him out, and then Swerve gets a hold of Hook, and then Hobbs takes him out. But now finally Hangman has Hook, and he's stapling him, and then Hobbs comes in and picks him up for a suplex, and then they start stapling Hobbs, but Hobbs is no-selling it until then Swerve comes in with a staple gun and staples Hobbs in the dick.
Oh, great.
And that's what ended up being his weakness was, yes, a staple to the penis. But then Strickland and Page, you know, they were trying to hit Hobbs with all sorts of, they had this drywall spot that absolutely was a massive fail, but they have a thing of cinder blocks that they then bring into the ring.
And they've done this before with Hobbs.
Yes. And it basically revolves around, you know, Hobbs eventually gets a slam onto Swerve, and unfortunately, right there, they pulled to a wide shot where you can just see Hangman waiting for the pin to go in there and get the 2, which was ridiculous. But eventually, we started getting more and more high spot. Like we had, I forgot, we had the Geeks come out. We had the Opps Dojo come out. And these are guys that look like they don't work out. There's no weights in this Opps Dojo for some reason. But, they're about 18, 19, probably on the wrestling or baseball team at a high school or something like that, trying to be wrestling. And they take Hangman's chain and they wrap up Swerve and Hangman in a circle. And, they're going to do something massively horrible to him. Oh, I forgot. Within this thing, Nana had gotten to the ring and got destroyed by Hobbs. It through like a table or something. So Nana is crawling up slowly with one arm, going, I'm going to, yelling at Hobbs. Oh, you can't do this to him. And Hobbs sees him, turns around, and Nana hits him with a hot cup of coffee.
Oh.
And this is the moment that Swerve and Hangman, much like Batman and Robin, finally get out of the Joker's plan because they untie themselves and do a little flip here and there. They clothesline these geek Opps and whatnot. They clothesline Hook. They have, they're finishing up with a bunch of, okay, now I need to start reading because I've forgotten the stuff that I was going to be doing, but it's one of these things where it's like they have the geeks on the outside and Swerve is going up to do that thing he does with the knees, and he eventually knocks them out. I'm probably getting this out of order, and I'm fine with this. There was a cool spot though. Oh, that was set up. Oh, I remember because the whole tying him up thing was set up by Hook, preventing Hangman from doing a buckshot lariat. But there was a cool spot where he went for the buckshot lariat after they escaped their plan, and Hobbs got a spine buster on him, and Swerve broke it up with the mic drop or the mic check, the kick. That was a sweet little spot, but then it gets into the high spots there. Swerve jumps off of there to knock out the geeks, but Hook has come around and goes for a roll up, but it fails. And now if they have their hands on Hook, Swerve and Hangman, they're doing him, and then Hobbs gets back in and they do the it's not the J Driller, but Hangman's other finisher that he does.
Oh, the Deadeye.
The Deadeye on the cinder blocks as Hook does the stomp from the top rope, and that's eventually what pins Hangman, I believe, or not Hangman, Hobbs.
Okay.
Or no.
It says here they put him chain around his neck.
They did that to Hobbs, and then they put the chain around Hook's neck and hung him, and he tapped out from the hang.
Gotcha.
That's what I forgot. Okay, there we go.
And that was that. And then the show was
because
over?
Hook tried to get the red rum on Hangman. Okay. It was excessiveness again.
No Joe.
No Joe.
Okay.
This felt like it should be a blow-off match, to be honest with you, but I don't think it is because Joe wasn't involved.
Right. Yeah. And no dissension with Paige and Swerve?
No, not at all. I forgot Kevin was at the show. Hello, Kevin. I wasn't reading the comments at the time, but Kevin was in Oklahoma.
Lights had trouble throughout the night, and they go into the entrance cue that they would use for championship intros. And that was going on at the beginning of the Lights Out match. Everyone in the arena could see when the lights were off. It just looked weird. Okay.
Okay. It looked really dark on TV, and then they had the spotlight on there, which made it look even worse because it looked like they were trying to find the light. If you've ever seen like a high school play where they have somebody who doesn't know
some of those.
The AV club or something like that, it's like the AV guy gets sick, so they throw in the apprentice, and he doesn't quite know the spots and stuff. That's what it felt like on that, but I mean, look, it's one of those fun ECW style hardcore matches. It just feels like we get this every week.
Yeah. Well, that was that, and I guess I'm not based on what you've said and what I'm reading here. I don't really know what the point of it was, unless maybe it was just that Paige and Swerve are, like working together.
I'm also just noticing Fernando got mad at my yeet joke. I'm sorry.
Pickles don't yeet. Yeah. Next week we have, or on Saturday on Collision, Mark Briscoe and Hechicero for the TNT title, Commander and El Clone, and Chris Statlander and the Babes of Wrath in action. So I guess they're tune up for next week. And then next week on Dynamite, Maximum Carnage, big card. MJF defends the AEW World Title against Miss Bandito, Darby Allin and Pac. The 6-woman match, Statlander and the Babes of Wrath against the Triangle of Madness, and Kenny Omega returns. So, and probably a Jon Moxley Open Challenge that'll be announced on Twitter.
To open the show, because he always has to open the show now when he used to.
Or maybe Collision. Hey, I'm not complaining. I love those matches. So
yeah, no, they're great matches. It's just one of those things where I'm just like watching this and going, okay, is he a babyface now in a heel stable, or is he still a heel that's trying to find his way? It's very he's shaking hands. He's giving people props.
I think it's the babyface in the heel stable at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. Although he did commentary during a Darby match on Collision, and he was kind of cheering the Death Riders on as they were beating up Darby. So not fully babyface, just in the spirit of competition. Jon Moxley is. So yeah, so that's it. We got through the show a little bit quicker because I didn't watch a lot of it, and we didn't have as much to talk about before the show as we normally do. But yeah, so now we can wrap up early because I got to say my nose is really bothering me. Yeah, I'm trying to stick it out, but I've muted myself a couple times, and if you're watching on video, you've seen me playing with it. So yeah, so that'll be that. Kevin, I see you in there. I hope you enjoyed yourself with the show. It looked, like I said, it looked like a fun show. Just some confusing things.
Just the matches were fairly long. That's all.
Yeah, I didn't see the main event, so I can't really comment on that. So Jeff, get your pluggers in.
At Crap Game 13 on X this week, Shake Them Ropes is back in what is the weirdest week of WWE that I can possibly remember. It feels like a weird reset of a lot of things. And Rob doesn't even watch NXT. So we'll be talking about that stuff as we start the road to the Royal Rumble. Rob went on a road trip to I believe, Nashville and ran into James Storm and Braun Strowman at a bar. Wow. So we'll be hearing about that. Yeah, and we'll just we've been off for a couple weeks, so it'll be fun to get back at it. So that'll probably drop Thursday night, Friday morning in all your available podcatchers or on the Voices of Wrestling mega feed.
All right. And Garrett and I were back with the Takedown where we did some WWE and AEW predictions. My AEW prediction was that the New Japan partnership will end in 2026. So you can go back and listen to us talk about that. And we should be back next Tuesday. We've moved the date on the Takedown.
I thought you meant us.
No. Garrett and I. And then you and I will be back next Wednesday after Dynamite, Maximum Carnage, big show, probably an overrun. So yeah, Darren, thank you for the kind words, and I do my best. So for Jeff Hawkins, I've been Paul Fontaine, and this has been the Dynamite Show.